Hello, my homies. One smart cat doing some Mechabellum. Now, this is a very cool auto battler, and I don't say that lightly because I do not like any auto battler that I have ever played. I've played a few of them, and I did not enjoy them for multiple different reasons. But before I get into what makes this one so different and makes me enjoy it so much, let me just show you one of the massive battles that happens and how epic they are. Yeah, I mean, if you're not down with giant rockets and giant mechs and giant lasers flying around all over the place, then, you know, I can't really help you. But if you did enjoy that, then hang out. Let's talk about this game. The first thing that I want to talk about is I want to get into the units. Now, one of the reasons that I enjoy this game so much is because these are all the starting units, and everybody gets these right from the beginning. You are able to pick whichever ones these that you want whenever the game starts going, and I'm going to go into more depth of like how the game actually works here in a second. Before that though, let's just take a look at these real fast, just skim through them, and that way you're able to see all the models and everything. The big thing about this game is it's basically rock, paper, scissors, in the sense that what you're trying to do is get the units out that you want to get out, and then set up counters for whatever your opponent has, and then set up counters for the counters that your opponent's trying to do against you. Now, looking at this first model, this is like one of the small guys, and it says how many units come with each instance that you purchase of the units. So like this comes with 24 little guys whenever you get this one. And this one does ground only. So there are some that attack the ground, there are some that attack the air, there are some that are flying. Everything has some sort of balance to it, that it's good against something and that it's bad against something. Before we go into the other models, let me just show you this stuff over here on the side. Whenever you start playing this game, you won't have all of this unlocked, but you will have at least 4 of these unlocked. And all that these do, these are upgrades that you're able to get in the game. Some of the stuff is locked, but the stuff that is locked doesn't mean that it's just better stuff. All it is a different tactic that you can use in the middle of a match. So it just gives you more options to do. But no matter how many of these that you have unlocked, you're only able to bring 4 into the game. So every single unit has 4 upgrades, whether it's your first game that you're playing or your 100th game that you're playing. To unlock these things, you get tech points. You get tech points just by playing the game. You get them relatively quickly. And like I said, unlocking these things, that doesn't give you a huge advantage. It just gives you more options and different directions that you can turn like any sort of build in any particular match. So these are the crawlers. They're a light melee robot. I'm going to go through these relatively quickly, and you can pause if you want to like look at like every little thing specifically. But these guys are pretty cool. They're relatively cheap to get out. They're only 100. And basically being able to swarm a lot bigger bots that do like single targeting. There's 24 of these little guys. So if you have a big bot that's trying to target one at a time, these guys can swarm them pretty well. This is a light all-purpose bot. It's able to attack the air and the ground. You get 18 of them. The models on here are great. And like from that little video that I showed you earlier, like seeing all these things running around on the field blasting at each other is just so fucking cool. These are all the different tech configurations and then the stuff that you're able to put on like I was talking about before. Look at this fucking thing. This is a steel ball. It's a high-speed anti-unit bot. So what this thing is good for, they come in a squad of 4 and they come out and they shoot like 1 laser out of each one of them. And if they all target one big unit, they can melt the unit down pretty quickly. Down here in the bottom left, you can read, you know, what the little descriptor is for each one of these. Like I said, just hit the pause button if you want to check it out. All we're doing right now is just checking out all the models just because they're so fucking cool. This is a Mustang, a very good high-speed all-purpose tank, says it right there. It also attacks the air and the ground. It's pretty fragile, but whenever it's facing other fragile things, it usually comes out on top. Like you can see down here, it's good against other low HP fighters. This is our first flying unit that we've seen. These guys are pretty cool. They're little tiny. You get 12 of them, and they're able to attack the air and the ground. Like I said, we're just skimming through the models. That way we can take a look at them. This is the first big guy that we've seen. This is the heavy melee bot. And let me just like point out something on this guy. Once you start unlocking these, like you could start setting up builds for all these guys. Like this build that I have set up for him is basically to try to keep him alive as long as possible. And this isn't something that I would do for every single game. But if I go into a game and I'd be like, you know what, I want to run my rhinos. And I purchase the rhinos and I get a couple of rhinos out there. I can do these upgrades, and all the upgrades cost coin, which you get while you're playing like in the middle of a match. You know, just to show off the stuff that I put onto him. Anytime he destroys something, he gets HP equal to the enemy's HP. He starts off with special coding that reduces the damage that he takes. And this one, he automatically restores 4.5 health every second after taking damage. So once you get some of these unlocked, and I still don't have everything unlocked, but that's not a big deal. Once you get some of these unlocked, you can start tinkering with these little loadouts and start messing with, you know, different stuff that you want to do, which I think is really cool. One of my favorite things about like card games and fighting games and stuff like that in general is having my input, like my personal input into a unit or into the way that I fight or whatever, for that to mean something. And in this game, your personal preference and like how you want a unit to work, it gives you a lot of options to do that, which is one of the reasons why I've been really enjoying this game. This is a melting point. This is a giant unit and he is an anti-unit bot. So he focuses on one other big unit and basically melts them down. Very cool. Like literally just a moving platform that just has this giant fucking laser on the back of it. I love seeing these things walk around on the field. This massive thing is the Vulcan. This is another giant creature. And this one shoots out fire, I'm assuming you could tell. And it's good for wiping out a whole bunch of little guys. This is the marksman unit. He comes up all by himself, but he's basically a sniper. He's able to shoot very far away and he's able to do a lot of damage to one unit at a time. So he's a good counter to some of the big guys and a good counter to like some of the medium stuff. This massive thing is the Fortress. It's basically just a huge tank of health points that you could put in the front of your army, and it's going to draw in a lot of fire and it's going to sustain itself for a while. It does do ground attacks starting off, but you can get upgrades and stuff to make it so that it can actually shoot stuff in the air as well. So like all these upgrades and everything, once you get them and once you start to fill in the slots for them, depending on the situation in whatever battlefield or whatever match you're in, you know, you can switch stuff around. Like if your opponent is doing nothing but air stuff, then you can pay for this upgrade. And now all of a sudden this thing can attack stuff in the air. Very, very, very cool. These little guys are another flying component. You get 2 of them whenever you get them. They're very fast. They attack the air, they attack the ground, and they're pretty long range. If anything gets close to them that's able to shoot at them, they die relatively quickly, but they can put out a lot of damage, and if they're able to stay far enough from other stuff that's able to hurt them, they can destroy a lot of things. This is Arclight. It's basically like a small version of crowd control. He's only attacks the ground starting off, but he's basically able to blow up like all those little tiny carrier things and stuff like that. Like I said, everything has a counter, and everything has a counter to the counter, so that's just the way that it works. This is the hacker bot. He's actually able to take over other units. So if you put some stuff in front of him in order to protect him, because he can get destroyed relatively quickly. But that massive fortress bot, this guy's able to literally like take him over and make him part of your team, at least for the round. You don't get to keep him for the whole rest of the match, but it's basically something else to use. It's just another tool, you know, in the army, and it looks cool as shit. It's very like science fiction-y. I dig it. Over here is a sledgehammer, basically a nice heavy tank. You get 5 of them. They do a lot of splash damage, and they're decent at staying alive. You can do other stuff like damage sharing to make them even more hardier. A very good starting unit. This is the Stormcaller. They do heavy rocket launchers, so they're able to shoot a whole bunch of rockets at pretty decent range. They're not incredibly fast, you know, being on these track wheels, but as long as you have stuff protecting them, they can put out a lot of damage. If anything gets in too close to them, they literally can't defend themselves because they're only able to shoot at range. This massive thing is the Overlord. It is a giant, and it is an aircraft. It's able to put out decent damage, and it does have decent health. There's a bunch of different upgrades that you're able to do to it to make it move faster, to make it, you know, put out more damage. This is, if you get this at the right time, you can surprise the hell out of your opponent, and depending on what they have on their field, they might not be able to deal with this. This is one of my favorite units. So that was all the units, and that, like I said, I just wanted to show you what everything was. I wasn't going to go heavy into detail on any of this stuff, but I'm going to go into a training match, and I'll show you just exactly how the game actually works. So when a match starts, you get 4 options here, and you're able to choose one of them. Since this is practice mode, it gives me a whole lot of time to look at everything and decide what I want to do, which is good. That way I can talk to you guys and tell you, you know, explain exactly how the game works. Whenever you're playing with a human opponent, you still get a decent amount of time, just nowhere near this amount of time. So this first set of options, you and your opponent get different options. You both get 4 random setups. Every single setup has 2 units that you're going to start off with. If you just hover over them, you're able to see what they do. And once you start to, you know, get into the game and play it a couple times, you pick all this stuff up really, really quickly. Like when you first look at it all, it looks a little bit overwhelming, but honestly, it shouldn't take you too much to catch on to this stuff. It's a lot easier than you think it would be. So you get the options of the 2 units for each one of these, and then you also have a commander. Each one of these does something different. The heavy armor specialist increases the HP of all units by 17. Giant units no longer consume supplies when being unlocked, because you do need to unlock the units as you're playing through the match. Rhino Specialist gives you a level 2 Rhino around 3. And Cost Control Specialist, you get an extra 100 supplies every round, but the attack of all your units is reduced and the HP of all your units are reduced. There's obviously some commanders that are better than other commanders, but the truth is, looking through all this stuff, it's just how do you want to play the match? That's the best way to think about it. For this match specifically, I'm going to go ahead and go with the Giant Specialists because it gives us a crawler, a bunch of little robots that are going to be able to spread across the field, and it's also going to give us a sledgehammer. Both of these are ground only, So if our opponent has anything flying, we're immediately going to be fucked. But the giant specialist being able to unlock the giants without any cost is pretty awesome. So we're going to go with this guy. Now, as the match starts, here are the units that we get for free. We can actually go over here and see what units our opponents have as well. So they have a bunch of arc lights. These are the crowd controls guys. Those are going to be very good against our little bug things. And they have the sledgehammer, which is what we have as well. We can also click up here to see what they chose. So they chose speed specialists, which means that all their units are going to move faster. Now, we have a bit of time, so let me just go ahead and tell you how the game works overall. Initially, it might be a little bit overwhelming, but just remember that everything that I'm showing you, they're all just options. One of the things that I like about this game so much is the fact that it gives you so many options to mess around with that you can really play this game like the way that you want to play it. So let me start off with saying that you can unlock one unit every single round, and you should unlock a unit every single round because some of these units cost 0. So you should at least do that every round, which will just give you more options later on. Some of the other units do, you know, cost credits or whatever they're called in order to unlock them. This is how many credits you have. Oops. Starting off, and you get more and more every single round. Now with the commander that we chose, I can unlock giant units for free. So like all these guys, the fortress, the Vulcan, the melting pot, the overlord, usually these would cost units to unlock, but because of the commander that I got, I can unlock them for free. That doesn't mean I get them for free. It just means that I'm able to unlock them for free. So in this situation, as we're starting off, seeing what they have over there, I'm going to unlock the marksman. It's going to be 0 to unlock him, but if I want to get a unit, it costs 100 and I have 200 supplies. Before I do that, I'm going to show you some of the other stuff that the game has. This is a research center and this is a command center. The research center, you can pay units or credits or whatever the things are called in order to get these advancements, which last for the rest of the game. Like I said, this is just an extra option that you're able to do if you choose to do it. You don't need to do it now at the start. You don't need to do it in the middle. You don't need to do it at the end. It's just something that is here and gives you more choices and more control over your army. The command center has a bunch of different things, but these do not last for the entirety of the game. They only last for one round. So on any particular round, if you think that you need a boost for that specific round, you're able to go through these and you can purchase a one-time buff for the round, like increasing the speed of all your units for the round or increasing the range of all your units for the round, stuff like that. So this is something that you can go to if you just need a nice little boost for the round. The other stuff that you're able to spend credits on are the upgrades. These are the little slots that you're able to pick that you saw like whenever I was showing all the units. And whenever you do one of these upgrades, it's like if I did this upgrade for these tanks, it would give the upgrades to all of the tanks, like this one and this one. So anything that is the same kind of unit, they'll all get the same upgrade. Something else that is an option that you get every single round, you can pay 50 credits to get a sentry missile, which you're able to set up anywhere around. And if an opponent gets into the line of sight of the sentry missile, the missile will shoot towards them and do damage. I think it says, yeah, you do 5,000 damage. These stick around until they're used. So if you buy one of these and puts it here, as long as nothing comes close to it, that missile will stay there. But once something comes close to it and the missile goes and blows them up, then that missile's gone and you would have to buy another one if you want another missile there. These are shield generators. Same thing. You can buy them whenever you want and you can put them up on your side of the field. But if they ever get destroyed, then they're gone. So the other restriction, so each round you're able to recruit one unit, which is what you saw me do with the marksman. That's how I put him into my little pool. And you can buy up to 2 units. So even whenever this pool gets big and whenever I have like, 8 or 9 units that I can choose from, I can only ever buy 2 of them at a time. Unless I do something like the command center where for 1 round I'd be able to recruit an extra unit. There's a lot of choices and stuff that you're able to make depending on how you want to play the game at any particular time. So in this situation with what they have, I'm going to go ahead and buy 2 marksmen. They come down over here. And now I'm going to start putting my stuff around. There is a fog of war, so I am able to see what units that they have. I do know that they have that and that they have that. But I don't know where they're going to place their units. So they're not going to be there whenever this battle starts. They're going to be, wherever the opponent has placed them. I am going to go ahead and put these guys over here. These guys over here kind of spread out a bit. And then I'm going to have these dudes in the front. Now, here's the thing. Those arc lights, these buds, are going to destroy these guys. So we're hoping that our snipers are going to be able to kill the arc lights before they kill all of our little guys. So one thing that I want to point out starting off is losing a round does not mean you're going to lose the game. You start off with health points up here at the top, and whenever a round's over, whatever surviving units are left, they do damage to whoever lost the round, and you'll lose health points depending on how many units are left and what kind of units they are. That being said, losing a round does not mean you're going to lose the game. I have had so many games where I'm down to like 800 health and my opponent is still full health. And just because I make a decision of, upgrading this unit or buying this unit, I'm able to turn the entire game around and I win the next rounds until I'm the one that wins the game. So it's not a bad thing if you lose a round. Losing a round is going to happen. The important thing is to think about counters and to think about upgrades and to think about what you can do to make sure you don't lose the next round. So this is how we're set up. Let's see how it plays out. All right, so they set up their guys over here. It doesn't look like they bought anything else. My snipers are focusing on the tanks, which is not a good thing. I kind of want them to focus on the arc lights. Okay. Hopefully he's able to destroy this. I don't know. This might be close. So if any of these get destroyed, it slows down your units, like you're going to see here in a second. It slows down your units a lot. So these things getting destroyed can completely turn the pace of battle. But we're about to destroy theirs, so now they're slow, and our snipers should be able to clean this up. All right, that was the first round. So in between rounds, you get to pick a reinforcement card, one of these. All of these reinforcements, you and your opponent are seeing the same thing. So like as you're looking through here, you can pick which one you want for yourself, or you can skip it and get a little bit of credit. These aren't always free. Usually there's stuff in here that, costs credits to get. So they're not always free. But as you're looking at this, you know that your opponent's seeing the same thing. So you can actually try to mind game it a bit and be like, okay, what is my opponent going to use? What is my opponent going to get? So let's look through this, see if there's anything good for us. That does fortress stuff. Decreases the recruitment cost of Stormcaller. I might get that. I actually really like the Stormcallers. Decrease recruitment cost of Sledgehammers, but it also decreases their attack. Increases. Let's do the Stormcaller. All right. Now here in round 2, this guy can get an upgrade. Whenever you do an upgrade, as you can see with those blue numbers that are right there, those plus blue numbers, upgrading a unit gives it a lot. Like it literally doubles the attack and doubles the armor of this particular unit. The different upgrades do different things to different units, but they're always very, very good. So you don't need to upgrade everything all the time, like right whenever you get the option to, but upgrading a unit does significantly make that unit a lot better. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get my unlock, and because of that reinforcement card that I just got about the Stormcallers, I'm going to go ahead and use my one recruitment that I have to go ahead and unlock the Stormcallers. And now they're only 150. They should be 200, but because of that thing that I got, they're only 150. I'm going to go ahead and get 2 of these. Now that I got 2 of them, this blacks out for 2 reasons. Number 1, I don't have enough credits to get any of them. Number 2, remember, you can only get 2 units at a time. There's also one other thing that I forgot. Whenever you get a unit and you like place it and you start the round, you can no longer move the unit once you place it. So like these guys, I can't move them anymore. This guy, I can't move him anymore. The only thing that you're able to move is the round that you buy something. So let's go ahead and bring him over here. We're going to set him up nice and over here. That way he's going to be behind all of these buds. Same thing with him. Nice and over here so he can be behind these buds. The other reason I'm putting these guys back here is starting round 2, you can actually start to place stuff on the sides of your opponent in order to try to get like backdoor attacks, which is very, very cool. And he's able to do that to me as well. Like he could place people right here if he wants to, or right here if he wants to. So that's why I'm actually setting him up and him up just in case that's what they decide to do. And with this last 50, let's go ahead and upgrade this sniper boy. All right, let's see what happens. Pushing this button always makes me so excited because with most of the auto battlers, like the fighting just looks like nonsense. And like the fighting here obviously does get chaotic, but it just makes so much more sense to me than like all the different like little colorful stuff that's in most of the auto battlers. All right, so he did a bunch of upgrades. Did he put anything on my side? Doesn't look like it. All right, we have rockets going. We have rockets going. And you control the camera and all that stuff. All right, we're doing good. We're doing good. These rockets are taking care of business. And this sniper is going to blow him up real quick. Very nice. Very nice. And anything that survives does damage to the enemy. That's what all those little pew pew pews are. All right, let's see what we have here. And like I said before, my opponent gets these options too. So like right here, I could pay 100 to get an orbital bombardment. Launches 15 guided rockets at a single target, dealing 250 damage per missile. My opponent can get that. So they can do that to me. So if I think that they're going to do that, you know, I can also buy this and do it to them. But whenever we get into the placement, I may want to purchase a shield or 2 just in case they do decide to get this. And that's where the strategic and the counterplay and the counter of the counterplay all come together into this game, which is one of the reasons why it's just really, really, really fun for me. Like, I love the idea of trying to think of what my opponent's going to do and try to counter them, and then trying to think of what they're going to try to do to counter me in order to do another counter back to them. Like, it sounds crazy and maybe a little bit intense, but like, honestly, it just like really scratches that itch for me of like, you know, strategic warfare and like all that stuff. And the fact that you don't have to, that you're not actually controlling any of the robots or anything, you're just setting up the plan for the battlefield and then pushing a button and just hoping to see what happens. I don't know. It's really, really fun, in my opinion. All right, so what are these other options? We can pay 50 to summon some wasps. We can pay 50 to equip this to somebody and it gives them a shield. Or we could pay 50 to get an additional 50 every single round. I am actually going to pick the wasps. So that reinforcement card that I just picked is up here now. Summons an army of wasps to attack your enemies. We're going to go ahead and click that. Now these you can put on your opponent's side of the field. You just can't put them like immediately next to one of their command centers. So let's go ahead and put this right over here. Give them something to worry about on this side. Let's also upgrade this bud. And I do think that he's actually going to do that bombardment thing. So I'm actually going to buy a shield and try to shield my guys a little bit. Let's go ahead and unlock a unit. We can unlock one of these guys for free. I think I want to unlock... Oh yeah, I forgot that I had the giant unlock thing for free. Oh, fuck yeah. Let's fucking unlock the fucking fortress. I think I can even get a fortress right now too. But I want another shield. Okay, so we'll get a fortress next turn. I want to get another shield for these guys. Just in case. Got a nice couple of boob shields out there. And then I want more storm callers. Remember, you can purchase 2 units per round. Now that we're in this shield, I'm going to actually put them a little bit closer as well. All right, let's see what happens. All right, he did not do the orbital bombardment, but he is trying to put stuff next to me over here. There's our wasps, blowing them all up. Those are the ones that we got from the recruitment. All right, we're destroying them now. So those flying guys, we only got those for the round. We're not going to have those guys anymore. What else do I need to show y'all? I should show y'all what the modules are. So we can get this for free. The movement speed of this unit equipped with this item is increased by 5, while attack is increased by 40. So let's go ahead and get that. So what that does, you can see that up here in the corner, the wasps are on cooldown. I can use them again in another 3 rounds. This is the haste module. This is the thing that I just got from the card. You can actually take it and you can put it in whatever unit you want to put it into. And that unit will get whatever the ability is. I'm gonna go ahead and put it in this guy. So now this guy has increased movement speed and increased damage. Let's go ahead and get another unit. So we are pretty much destroying the spot right now. This isn't an insane bot. This is the one that was right under insane. So let's go ahead and get the Vulcan because we can. Is this mine? Oh no, that's what he has. Okay, that's what he has. So we have 800 units. Let's get the Vulcan. This is the flame guy that's able to blow up a bunch of little guys. Let's put him over here. And then let's get the fortress. This is just a big beefy tanky bud. We'll put him over here. And we should win on this one, depending on if he does something crazy. And see, all I've been doing is getting units and stuff. He's been upgrading his things. See, he has that upgrade. He has that upgrade. He has that upgrade. You can play this game in a bunch of different ways, which is like one of the things that I fucking love about it. Neither one of us has done any of our research. Neither one of us has done any of our command centers. He's put some stuff over here on this side. He's upgraded a lot of his units. That's what all those little things above him. And me, you know, I put out a bunch of shields. I leveled up this guy. I leveled up this guy. Like, the two of us are playing this completely differently. So let's see what happens. So he did more updates. We got two really big dudes. I love how these rockets look. Who does he still have alive? Oh, he has these guys alive. That got blown up. This is all that's left. This should be the end of the match. So the health that gets taken away is how many units you have, and like how big the units are will take away the health on them. Yeah, well, there you go. That is a breakdown of Mechabellum. I have been having a great time with this game. This game is currently in early access, and it does cost money to play it right now in early access. When this goes completely live, out of early access, it will actually be free to play. But if you want to get in on the action now, I think it's like $14.99 if you want to get in on it. I think this is a really fun game. This entire video was just like an introduction to the game. I will be doing at least one more of these videos, which will just be straight gameplay. And if people enjoy it, then I'll keep doing more of it. Either way, I will be playing this on my own because, like I said, I have been having a lot of fun with it. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. I would love to know anybody's thoughts on the game. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Hopefully I see you in another one of my videos. Wee!